Just give it a little bit of time, let everybody start to come in. Ba, 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 ba. All right. So let me just make sure that the live is playing in all the different places. Live on Facebook, good. Let's check the community. This should be live as well. And that looks like it's live too. That's interesting. Oh, there it goes. Okay. So I like to just, double check everything and make sure. I've had a weird experience once where I went live and I was actually live streaming for my karate school, and I'm like, it says I'm live, but I didn't confirm on YouTube that it was actually live, and it turns out that it didn't actually go live. It didn't actually go live.
Oh, no.
So I like to confirm everywhere. All right, let me just double check YouTube as well. It should say live. Okay. It looks like we got 3 people watching already, so that's good. Okay, we are live there. And Twitter. We are live on Twitter and LinkedIn. We should be live on LinkedIn as well. Hello, Imaginers. I see 5 people are watching. Okay, good. We're live on LinkedIn as well.
Fantastic.
So before we dive in, everybody, for anybody who's watching on either the ImagenAI Facebook page or anybody who is in the Facebook community, the ImagenAI community, please be sure to connect Restream to your Facebook profile, because you only have to do this once. If you do not do this and you comment in the live chat on Facebook, we will not be able to see your name. It'll come up as a Facebook user, an anonymous Facebook user. So all you have to do is go to chat.restream.io/FB, just what you see on the screen. And once you connect that once, you're done. You never have to do it again. And we will be able to see your name if you post in the live chat. And speaking of the live chat, please let us know where you're tuning in from. There's currently 6 of you watching this. We want to know where you're watching from. So please comment, from where you're watching from. So I am here with Jeff Brown. Jeff, I'm happy that we're able to connect. I'm glad you're feeling better. This was postponed from, 2 weeks ago?
Yes.
So I'm glad you're feeling better. And I'm excited to talk to you about everything that you're going to be sharing today, which we'll get into in a little bit. I'm excited because I've got this beautiful book right here. Excellent. That you're going to be talking about today. And I think a lot of photographers are going to get a lot out of this for 2022. Actually, this week in the ImagenAI community, the big theme that I posted in the Workflows Monday was basically what you could do to basically bring your business to, a whole new level in 2022. And I think this plays a big role in it. Getting organized, setting goals for yourself is a big part of the process. So with that, it looks like we've got Stu coming from Wales in the UK.
That's
so
true.
Hello, Stu. And we've got Nadine coming from Germany. Nice. That's fantastic. Really cool. Okay, so one more time before we dive in further. If you're on Facebook, please just go to chat.restream.io/FB. Connect it once and you're done. You never have to connect it again. And with that, Jeff, I'm glad you're here. And if you could please share with everybody a little bit about yourself, your background, what you do.
So I'm a photographer by trade. I started out my business in 2004. I was originally a military photographer, so I served for 10 years in the Royal Navy and then did 2 years with the intelligence services as an image analyst. And during that time, I set up a business, a wedding photography business, while I was still serving with another photographer who was also working for the intelligence community at the time. And we started doing weddings on weekends, and then I came out first. And I spent a lot of money on marketing because I knew that if I wanted to progress as a photographer, it was really going to have to be the marketing and branding that I needed to do more training on, because the military trains you to a decent level as a photographer. And fortunately, when you come out of the armed forces, you get about £7,000 to spend on training. So I spent a lot of that money on marketing and branding and understanding it all. And that's what catapulted our business forward. And then we ended up with 5 photography companies, 6-figure photography companies, in a very short space of time. And it wasn't because we were fantastic photographers. There was a lot more better photographers than us out there. It was because we knew what we were doing when it came to the marketing and branding side of things. We had the right message. We created niche brands. We looked premium. We had easy upsell pricing systems, so it made us easy to do the business with potential clients. And about 4 or 5 years ago, I had a bit of a life change, a bit of redirection. I moved up here to Northumberland in the British countryside and started a mentoring business for photographers. So I now work with photographers in about 20 different countries around the world. I've got about 80 to 90,000 photographer followers across my social media. I've written 2 best-selling photography business books, and I'm also an ambassador for about 8 different companies within the photography community, and I'm sponsored by Loxley's Photo Labs here in the UK.
Awesome. It's I've always had an interest. I thought about straight out of high school joining the military to become a military photographer, and I didn't. But I've always had an interest in that field. I do have family who's in the military, and I do know some other photographers who were military photographers, and some who still are military photographers. It's an interesting field. It's an interesting genre in the photography industry, and it's not one that's talked about really often. In some cases, at all. Like it's not. It's not a common thing, but so it's really interesting. I don't think I might have known this about you, but if I didn't, I just learned about it. If I did, I forgot, but now I know again. So you're going to be talking today about basically what we talked about before, like what photographers can do to better their businesses this year, and part of it is related to this book that you just published, and everybody's watching live. How many of these are you giving away today?
I'll give away 5 copies of these today.
5. Cool. So I don't think we even discussed how we're doing that, but in order to win it, you got to be live.
It'll be interesting to know what niches of photography people are from as well. If it's weddings or portraiture, what's your main source of income? What's your primary photography business? Where do you get most of your work from?
Yeah. So do you want to dive into the presentation? Do you want to just get right into it?
Certainly. So basically today we're going to be talking about goal setting, because goal setting is paramount to the success of your business. And a lot of photographers don't really set goals, and when they do, they set very weak goals. And goal setting can completely transform your business going forward, because it gives you something to aim for, and it also ensures that you are doing the right bits of work, the right jobs, so that you're actually working on your business on a daily basis, maybe putting aside 30 minutes to 60 minutes a day to actually spend time working on your business, on progressing your business, as opposed to working in your business, which is getting caught up on answering emails, editing pictures, just generally the day-to-day running of the business. And if you don't do stuff that's going to expand your business and change the direction of your business to move forward, you're just going to stagnate and you're not going to grow. And it's the people who reach out for opportunity, the people who set goals and have a clear direction, who succeed. The good thing about goal setting is it doesn't take long to actually start to come together if you do the things right, because now we're in a different position than we were when I started out in business in 2004. You put an advert in the yellow pages, and you had to put adverts in magazines and go to wedding fairs. Now you can reach, with the power of the internet and social media, you can reach people overnight, and you can start to see dramatic changes within your business within a period of maybe just 2 to 3 months. Where traditionally you started up in business, the first year you made a loss, the second year you broke even, the third year you made a profit. That isn't the case anymore.
Right. Yeah, It's a great topic. I'm sure this is going to wind up driving a lot of questions, which I want to just mention that as Jeff starts going into his presentation, if you have questions, please comment with them. Jeff told me to interrupt him if there's a question that's worth asking, like on the fly. Otherwise, I'll save some of those to the end. So please just use the comments area and ask your questions, and we will make sure that Jeff gets to as many questions as we can. And yeah, so with that, you ready to start sharing?
Yep.
All right. So I'm going to pop off. I will pop myself out of here so that way you don't see me, and then I'll pop back in if there's a question that comes in when we need to. Okay, there we go. I see it now.
So you see that okay?
Yep, looks good.
Brilliant. Cool. So today we're going to talk about goal setting and developing a goal setting routine. And this is based around my book, The Ambitious Photographer's Journal. It's probably the only photographer's journal out there on the market. I've read literally hundreds of journals and daily diaries, and have used all my knowledge in marketing, branding, and goal setting to create a journal just for photographers. So it's especially for you guys. So why is goal setting so important? Most photographers don't set goals, and those who do often just set yearly goals, then fail to take action. So you won't hit a target you can't see. You've got to have a target there and have something to aim to. Your goals are the foundation to the success of your business, and it should be based around your mission and your vision for the future of your business. So when we talk about mission, we talk about what is your why you do what you do. So if you're a wedding photographer, why do you do what you do? What got you into that? And what is your vision? What is the vision for the business going forward? What do you want to be? Do you want to be the go-to photographer in your county as a country house wedding photographer? Do you want to be the number one portrait studio for pets and children in your area? So what is your mission? So your mission is, how are you going to do this? How are you going to get there? So your mission is to photograph 100 weddings in 2022. And what are you going to have to use to make this happen? So whenever we have a goal, we need things to make that goal happen. So to make this dead simple, if your mission is to lose 2 stone, so if your mission is to lose, say, 24 pounds or something like that by the end of the year, you don't just set that as a goal and do nothing about it. You break that goal down into various areas, and there's things that you're going to have to do to achieve that goal. One of the things is you're going to have to increase your activity. The other thing is you're going to have to watch your diet. You might have to have other things to make this happen. So you might have to get a gym membership or personal trainer. You might have to invest in some new running shoes and some new gym kit. And this is all stuff that feeds into your mission. So it's not just going to happen because you write it down on a sheet of paper. So think about it. What is your mission with your business? Where do you want to get to with your business? Feel free to drop it in the chat and we can discuss this at the end of the PowerPoint. So what is your mission? Where would you like to get to? My biggest mission, my biggest idea is to be the number one photography mentor in the world, helping as many photographers as I can by delivering free content. So not everybody can come on my program. Not everybody can afford to come on my program. And my program is very limited, but that doesn't stop me wanting to give free tips and advice and help as many people as I possibly can. So that is my mission. And I'm going to achieve this mission by partnering with as many different people as possible, like the guys at ImagenAI and other sponsors and ambassadorships, to get this message out there, because I know there's so many really talented photographers out there who are not getting the money they should be getting. They're not getting financially rewarded doing the job they love. So in order to have successful goals, you've got to create goals that support each other. So don't just think about a financial goal. You've got to go a lot deeper into that. Your goals should cover every aspect of your business and also your personal growth. So you need to include goals that are rewards and lifestyle goals too. So for me, one big goal that I have every year is is a fitness goal and a weight management goal. And the reason being, for me, if I can earn as much money as I desire to, or believe to, or dream to, but I wouldn't be happy with that money, and I wouldn't be happy with that success if I felt unhealthy, if I felt overweight and I felt unfit. I would be miserable. So for me, that is a big part of my goal. And also, when I feel healthy and I feel fit, I have a more positive frame of mind and actually do more. I achieve more and I get a lot more done. So part of my goals every year is to keep an eye on my fitness and my healthiness. I'm 51 now, so I'm getting older. It's not as easy to keep in shape as it was 20 years ago. So you need to break your goals down into various areas of your business. And the reason being is, if you just set a target to achieve 100,000 a year, or to photograph 60 weddings a year, and you write that down, that's not going to achieve anything, because there's lots of stuff that feeds into this goal ultimately that's going to make this goal happen. If you just set a goal of making money, it's not going to achieve itself. You have to do other things to make that money come. So you need to set goals for your turnover and the number of shoots you're going to do. So your turnover, you might set a goal of 100,000 as your turnover. How many shoots are you going to have to do to achieve that goal? Your branding and pricing goals, and this is really, really, really important, probably one of the most important aspects, because brand is not just your logo. Brand is everything your clients think, feel, and believe about your business. If you have a premium looking brand, people will have a higher perceived value of your worth. Think about this as a consumer yourself. If you see something premium, something luxurious, if it oozes quality, you are going to be prepared to spend a lot more money on that. Now, a lot of photographers don't invest heavily into their branding. They don't have a brand that, first of all, matches what their ideal clients like, and also looks premium, because your clients are not photographers. They can't tell the difference between your photography and another person's photography. But what they can't tell the difference with is your brand. If you look premium to them, then they're going to have more perceived value in what you do. They will probably happily spend a lot more money with you, and premium and quality go hand in hand. So if something looks premium, people expect it to be more quality and will pay a higher price. So branding and pricing come hand in hand, and these are one of your most important goals, to get a brand that is premium and resonates with your ideal clients. Websites, blog, and SEO targets, that's another goal. Your goal might be to get a new website and have it keyworded for all 5 pages of your website, to write 2 blogs a month, which are blogs that are customer-facing blogs, the questions that your clients are asking, and also to try and get yourself to the first page of Google for a local search, say wedding photographer New York. Social media and authority growth goals. So you have a social media goal to post maybe 5 times a week on 3 channels, to grow your Facebook following from 2,000 to 4,000. Remember, visibility is credibility. The more visible you are, the more credible you become. Joint ventures and collaboration. Joint ventures and collaboration catapulted my business, both my wedding and portrait and commercial photography businesses, but also the business that I've got now, which is my mentoring business. I couldn't be anywhere further forward than I am now if it wasn't for joint ventures and collaboration. And joint ventures is utilizing people who already serve your ideal clients and creating collaborations with them. And we can talk about this further in the discussion. Projects and passive income. And I think, especially after the past 2 years where things haven't been going according to plan, projects and passive income are a great way to make additional money into your business, because you never know what's going to happen. So if you have a passive income coming in, if you run an online course or you sell it, you have print sales for your landscapes in with your wedding photography business as well, at least you're getting something in there. And this is something you should be thinking about for the future, building a passive income stream. Personal goals and lifestyle, like I said, fitness and well-earned rewards. You need to have that reward there and work towards it. It might be a new car, it might be a new camera, it might be a luxury holiday with the family. What I want to do is start thinking about what your one big goal is for 2022, and then break that goal down into lots of different areas. So my one big goal, one of them, I have about 10 goals for this year, but the one big important one, which I have committed to achieve within my own private group with the 250 photographers I work with, and I've made myself accountable for this, is to have 5 best-selling books completed and out there by December 2022. So that is my one big goal. And the reason I want this goal is because I want to have a passive income from my books of around about £3,000 per month. And I think that's very, very achievable, considering my, singular books do about £600 a month in commission from Amazon. So I've already got 2 books out there. If I get 5, I'm going to hit that target. For me, that means that before I get out of bed every morning, I've made enough money from passive income to pay for the house, pay for the car, pay for my food, and pay for a couple of holidays a year. So that is my one big goal, because I'm 51 now, I'm not getting any younger. So that is my one big goal. I have lots of other goals. So what is your one big goal for 2022? And go deep. Think about it. Think about your goal and think about what you want to achieve for it financially, how you're going to achieve it, why you want that goal so much, what is really important about it.
Jeff, I think one way for us to give away a book is asking for comments for exactly that question. What is your goal for 2022? Comment and share it with Jeff so that he can pick his favorite and give away a book.
Cool. And I think, one of the things with one big thing about goals is don't be afraid to set really big goals, because when you set a really big goal, you have to work a lot harder to achieve that goal. So if you set a goal to, mine is to write 5 best-selling books, I know that I'm going to have to be writing quite a bit. So even if I just hit 50% of that goal, I've still achieved something really, really good. So if your initial goal target is to increase your turnover by 20,000, but then you set a more ambitious goal of 60,000, that even if you reach 50% of that goal, you've actually exceeded your original goal by 10,000. And when you set really big goals, a lot of things happen before you actually achieve it, because you're working so hard towards it. The magic starts to come halfway along the journey. So don't be conservative in your goals. Feel, and if you believe in them, set big goals, be ambitious, because that's when the magic really starts to happen. So collaborate and grow your authority. And I said earlier, collaboration is a fantastic way of growing your business. Collaborating is a great way to help grow your authority, build relationships, and create amazing content. You need to look out for industry experts, people who already work with your ideal clients, and reach out to offer your skills, your experience, and your knowledge to their network. So for example, if you're a wedding photographer, you could look at some of the high-end venues, the top venues in your area. You could look at bridal shops. Funny enough, I had a fantastic collaboration with a bridal shop who was bringing me probably about 30 to 35 weddings in per year. And this was on a collaboration where we actually paid them a commission reward every time they referred us over with a voucher. So we give them some vouchers, and every time somebody went in to buy a dress, the girl would ask, have you got your photographer's order out yet? Well, I can recommend you someone. Here's a special voucher we've got. It's a VIP voucher for our clients, and it can be used against the cost of your wedding photography with DeRoche & Brown Photography. So that was a great collaboration. But you don't just have to look at collaboration for sales. You can look at collaboration for content as well, to help grow your social media pages and grow your authority. So if you can collaborate with somebody who has 20,000 followers and you only have 500, then that collaboration is going to bring some of their followers over to your Facebook or your LinkedIn page too. Use other people's authority to grow your authority. So I work with a lot of big corporations around the world. I've done webinars and lives with likes of Canon. They have a huge following, and that helps grow my authority, because if they're putting out my content, then that's making me look good. I work with about 4 or 5 of the associations, the professional photography associations here in the UK. So again, they have huge followers, huge member numbers. That grows my authority, and it also grows my relevance and trust as well, because I'm aligned to those, and people who work with that professional authority trust them, so they wouldn't have somebody on speaking or doing a webinar if they were dodgy, or if they were only in it for the money. So it helps grow your authority, it helps grow your trust and your respect within the industry. Be seen as the inspirational problem solver for your niche, within your niche of photography. Share content widely across both networks, but across your network and also the person you're collaborating with. Host free events and webinars to create interest for your services. So this is a webinar that I'm doing, and I've collaborated with ImagenAI to do this webinar, which is beneficial to both of us. And opportunity is everywhere. There's literally endless opportunity available to every photographer right now. It can be right in front of you. If you're a pet photographer, there's opportunity to collaborate with dog groomers. There's opportunity to collaborate with vets, maybe a national pet charity. There's so many different places you could do collaboration. I know quite a few pet photographers who are doing collaborations with manufacturers, big manufacturers of pet equipment or pet related, harnesses or dog treats or pet food. Think outside the box, because there's lots of people who want your knowledge and your experience and your inspiration as a pet photographer, or as a wedding photographer, as a portrait photographer. You do have a lot to offer. So brainstorm opportunity within the niche you serve. So if you are struggling for ideas, pop it in the comments. Mention what what photography niche you're in, and then what sort of opportunity you would like, and I'll give you some ideas. So if you tell me, oh Jeff, I'm a pet photographer, I'll give you some ideas of how you can brainstorm for opportunity for your particular niche. Be bold and reach out. I tend to reach out at least once a week. So I set aside one day each week, and I call that Opportunity Wednesdays. And this is something I've put into the Ambitious Photographer's Journal. And every week I reach out to people, and I send a message out, or an email, make a phone call, drop a LinkedIn request. What's the worst somebody can say when you're reaching out for opportunity and you're reaching out to collaborate? The worst they can say is no. 95% of the time, people will turn around and say, yeah, that's a good idea, or tell me more, or how can this be beneficial to both of us? Most photographers aren't doing this. So create time each week to make those calls, send those emails, because it's only going to take you 5 or 10 minutes. It's not going to take you a lot of time. And opportunity compounds massively as your authority grows. So when you start getting seen working with other people within your niche and industry, then other vendors, other sponsors, other supporters, other influencers start coming to you and saying, I saw you on a podcast. I saw you writing a blog for this particular wedding magazine. I saw you aligned with this particular bridal shop. Would you like to come and work with our venue? So the more you get your name out there, the more people recognize you and see you, the more your authority grows and the more your credibility grows. You become what's called the go-to photographer. You're actually seen all over the place. So you've got to be precise with your goals, and you've got to really visualize them. Write down your 10 big goals. Be precise, visualize them in your mind, and have a list of all the essential details. Go really, really deep into it. Just don't say, I want to shoot 10 weddings a year, or 20 weddings a year, or 50 weddings a year. Talk about how much you want for each particular wedding, what dream venues you want to be shooting at, where you want to be featured, what magazines you want your work featured in. Don't waste time. Start mapping your goals out now, because these are the steps to your success. If you don't write them down, you can't achieve them, and you can't formulate a direction to get to them. Display your goals everywhere you can see them. So you can put them up on the fridge. You can have them as a screensaver on your laptop. You can put them on your mobile device. Read over your journal at the start of each week. So each week, write your goals down in the journal for that particular week. Have one big goal that you want to achieve each week. One must-do thing. It might be to create this blog to send off to a wedding magazine, or to reach out to 5 pet groomers for collaboration. And these one big goals that you're going to do each week formulate part of your bigger picture, part of the bigger plan. And these are things you need to be taking time to do, because if you don't, you're not going to grow your business and not going to build your business. Create a vision board. There's some great software, things like Canva you can create vision boards on. Vision boards are great because it's a visual reminder of where you want to be with your business. Set your vision board as or goals as a screensaver, as I said, on your laptop or on your mobile device, and commit to yourself and commit to yourself publicly. You can even get an accountability partner. So if you've got somebody else who you know within the photography trade, or somebody else who's in business as well, a friend, then you say, right, I'm going to commit to do this year. And you make a commitment to them and they make a commitment to you. When you've got these big goals, you've got to break these goals down into 90-day milestone goals. And the reason for that is having big yearly goals is just too big a time frame. It leads to procrastination. So you break your 10 big business changing goals in all those areas we discussed: the branding, the money, the number of shoots, your lifestyle, your collaboration. You break them down into 90-day more manageable goals. So say, for instance, your goal is to have shoot 50 weddings a year. You know that every quarter you're going to have to achieve, say, 15 or 18 wedding bookings that particular quarter. So that's going to keep you on track. Then you can break that down into weekly and monthly to see how many times you're going to be doing it. If one of your goals is to have a whole new website, then you might want to break that down and say, in month 1, I want to have the homepage completed, rebranded, and the contact page done. And then in month 2, I want my products and services pages done. So you can break every aspect of your goals down and split them up over weeks, months, over that 90-day plan. Be smart with your goals and try to repurpose them. So if your goal is to write 2 blogs per month, then what can you do with those blogs? Not only can you upload them to your website, say, for instance, that blog is 7 tips to a successful wedding day. You could then repurpose those as smaller little posts. So that gives you 7 individual posts for Facebook or for LinkedIn. You could also pad this blog out and then offer it to a wedding magazine to collaborate with them and say, I've got some great content and images, because they're always looking for content like that. It's surprising how many magazines want content that appeals to their readers. Create goals that complement each other. So obviously, if you have a shoot goal, that shoot goal is going to complement your turnover goal. And then if you build your brand up, then you're going to get more money per shoot, which means you're going to have to shoot less to reach that turnover. Don't go for the easy stuff first. Tackle the big stuff head on, because when you tackle the big stuff head on, then the results start to come a lot quicker. And sometimes by going for the big stuff head on, that cancels out some of the smaller stuff. Track and evaluate your milestone goals each week. So when you break down your yearly goals into 90-day goals, you can track and evaluate these on a weekly basis by using the Ambitious Photographer's Journal. And then take pride in completing your goals and rewarding yourself. So when I finish something, when I've done something, when I finished writing the Ambitious Photographer's Journal, when I finished writing my LinkedIn book, I treated myself. I went and bought a new jacket. So I set myself a target, and it's something like a decent reward, an expensive new coat. Right. Once I've written that, I'm going to go and buy myself that. Getting to know IGTs. So IGTs are really important. IGTs are what is referred to as income generating tasks. As photographers, our time is our greatest asset. Your time is your money, so you've got to use it wisely. An IGT is an income generating task. So it's something that you do that effectively generates income for your business. Unfortunately, editing photos, repeatedly checking your emails, scrolling through Facebook, or looking at competitors' websites are income draining tasks. They're taking your time away from making money. Things that are income generating tasks are likes of writing your blog, posting to social media, reaching out for joint ventures. These are all potential things that can bring more revenue into your business. Give yourself one big goal that you must complete each week, one big job that no matter what you do, you've got to get that finished by the end of the week. And if that job is to write a blog or an article for a magazine, and it looks a bit overpowering, you've got to write 2,500 words and you're not a brilliant writer, then you can say, right, I'm going to break that down. I'm going to do every morning when I get up, I'm going to do 500 words towards that blog. By the end of the week, you'll have that done. By Friday, if you start on Monday and you do 500 words a day, you'll have that done. You broke it down, and you've maybe spent 45 minutes of your time, but at the end of the week, you've completed that one most important job. So break these goals down into 60 to 90-minute sections and do these before you do anything else. It becomes before you're editing every day. Now, I tend to use a morning routine, so I do all my stuff first thing on the morning. And the reason being is I'm a morning person. I love getting up early. I get up at 4:44. I call it my 444 club. I get up at 4:44 every day because for me, I'm a morning person. Other people might be a night person and prefer doing it after everybody's gone to bed. Whatever time works best for you. But make sure you set aside that time, minimize the distractions, and do your IGTs every single day. Non-essential jobs should really come after lunch. It's good to do your IGTs first thing in the morning anyway, and it just means they're done, because once they're done, they're out the way, then you can get on with something else. Minimizing distractions is so important. We've never had so many distractions in our working days: emails, texts, notifications, and calls. If you want to progress and win the day, you need to minimize these distractions and form habits that keep your attention focused on the task in hand, because once you move off a job, it's really, really hard to get started back on it again. So if you're writing this blog and then you go off to check Facebook or check your emails, then it's going to be really, really hard to get that flow into it again. So what I do is when I'm book writing, what I do is I switch off the Wi-Fi. I do it first thing in the morning, switch off the Wi-Fi. My phone's on silent. I don't get any notifications through my phone, and I put my phone at the opposite end of the room. So I just set a clock. I've got 1 hour focused writing, no distractions. I can't pick my phone up. I can't click on any social media on my laptop because the Wi-Fi is off anyway, and I've just got a Word document opening, and I'm just concentrating on that. Switch all notifications to silent. I tend to find that it's a good idea to just go in maybe once or twice, 3 times over the course of the day, maybe morning, lunchtime, and evening, to go in and cancel out all your notifications, respond to emails, and respond to messages. You don't need to be going in and out, because it's going to break your concentration and break your productivity flow. Have an online diary to make booking easier, so people aren't having to ring you and speak to you, and you don't have to be sending messages backwards and forwards for diary dates. Install a newsfeed blocker on Facebook that will stop you scrolling through the newsfeed, because you know how tempting it is to jump on social media. Check your email twice a day, then close it. So don't have your email open. Open it, check it, respond to it if it needs a response, and then come back out, switch it off, and then go back to it maybe at the end of the day. Remove email from mobile devices, because again, that's another distraction. I don't have email on my mobile phone. I only access my email through my laptop or my desktop computer. And turn your Wi-Fi off when you're working on important income generating tasks. If you need to get something written or you're busy designing something, then switch off the Wi-Fi and get on with the task in hand. Outsource more often. And this is something photographers sometimes often scared to do, outsourcing. But it's easy to fall in the habit of working in your business and not working on it. So you're doing stuff that really you could get somebody else to do. Do you spend too long on tasks that you're not an expert at? Why not leave it to someone better qualified than you? And then you can concentrate on the stuff that you're really good at and stuff that needs that personal touch, like obviously your photography, or writing social media posts that have that, where we call in the events from a wedding day, or you're talking about a photo shoot that you've done, that you're not trying to sell, you're trying to tell a story and communicate something that needs that personal touch. Outsource copywriting. Copywriting is a brilliant thing, but unfortunately, a lot of photographers, I'm not very good at copywriting. So in both books that I've written my book and then I've outsourced it to somebody else who's gone over and tweaked the copy and tweaked the language and the spelling. photo editing, or obviously using things like ImagenAI can really speed up your time, so you're not spending hours and hours editing photos. And design is a big one, because a lot of photographers try and do their own design, and sometimes it looks, it doesn't look professional. And design is what is all your brand about. So if you get a really awesome looking brand, if the design is top notch on everything from your price list to your website to every bit of communication you make with the client, then that's going to send out the right message. It's going to look premium, it's going to look quality, and people will pay more for it. If it doesn't look it, it's not going to give the right message. A couple of £100 spent on design can actually earn you tens of thousands of pounds in the future, because you can charge a premium, because your brand says everything that your client wants to hear. So learn copywriting or SEO as a valuable source of skills. People judge quality, like I said, from your brand. So you've got to look premium at every single step. Make every impression count. As I say, £100 here on design could be worth thousands for your business in the long run. And visibility is credibility. Look at your social media news feeds, the influencers, the thought leaders in the industry. It's visibility that makes them credible. Every go-to photographer, everyone who's top of their game, whether it's a wedding photographer, portrait photographer, they started with only a few followers. They started with one follower. They started by doing their first job for free or doing it at a really cheap price. But as their visibility grew, so did their following. And it's turning up every single day is the most important step, because when you see people online all the time, when you see people posting, then that increases your credibility. And when your credibility increases, so does your authority. If people see somebody all the time, then they have more authority and they're more likely to get the bookings. So visibility is really essential when it comes to social media if you want to be the go-to photographer. Post every day before you do anything else. Sometimes a post can only take you 10-15 minutes, but I know many photographers who start off on a good plan, and then it gets to the wedding season and they don't post anything for 3 months, and they've lost that momentum, they've lost that visibility they had, and they've got to start all over again. Engage with others and connect and grow your network. It's not just all about you. You don't want to be posting about you. You want to be posting valuable content that inspires and influences the people who you connect with. And you also want to utilize other people within the industry. So connect with wedding photographer, connect with bridal shops, connect with wedding car, wedding hire, suit hire shops, florists, venues, and start utilizing their following to help grow your following as well. Content creation, joint content creation is a great way to grow your visibility. Help motivate and inspire your followers. So don't just post about yourself. Don't just say, I was photographing another wedding. Tell stories about the brides. Tell stories about the wedding day. Give tips from a photographer's point of view, because you will see things that you can say, you don't want to do this on your wedding day, or you want to, try doing this, and this is going to make your morning a lot more stress-free. Help motivate and inspire the people who follow you. And be yourself. Be likable and be personal. Don't speak like a robot. Don't be afraid to just put yourself out there. And make your social media the hub of information. So say, for instance, you're a portrait photographer. Instead of just putting out pictures of portraits, start informing people on your Facebook page about everything. If you're a family portrait photographer, everything that's family oriented in your area, great places to go for walks with the kids, the best kids movies that are on at the moment, family friendly restaurants and pubs you can go to for a meal. Make your Facebook page or your social media pages a hub of information, motivation, and inspiration for the people who follow your particular niche. One day, one action. As part of the Ambitious Photographer's Journal, I created Opportunity Wednesdays. And in my own routine, I've had amazing results just by reaching out. When you dedicate 20 to 30 minutes on one specific day each week to reach out, then the effects over time really do compound, and you get some unbelievable opportunity growth. But you've got to do it. It's not going to happen if you don't reach out. one message can really make a difference. If you find somebody, or you want to connect with a particular brand or a particular venue or a vendor or an influencer, then send that message. Say, what's the worst they can say? They can only say no. Make it a habit. There are thousands of opportunities waiting for you, and most photographers aren't doing this. This is going to get you to be the go-to photographer. This is going to help you get seen. The ones who ask are the ones who achieve. In my own business model, it's built on opportunity and visibility. You're only hours away from success. So what I said at the very beginning of this webinar was, it's not like it was 15, 20 years ago. You can actually make a huge difference to your business in a matter of a couple of months. Gone are the days of the slow path to success. Where you are now is often the result of what you've been doing for the past 3 months. So if business is a little bit slow, but you hadn't been posting over Christmas, then the chances are, you've gone off the visibility scale. So if you start developing a routine to keep up that consistency, the effects that you start to compound over a really quick space of time. This could be 3 or 6 month period. So if you start doing this now, you can really start seeing the difference. And I've had a lot of clients who've, started working with me. Then in 3 months' time, the emails start coming in, the messages start coming in, the opportunities start coming in. But it's not going to start straight away. But you've got to start somewhere. And it's every single day you keep up this consistency, it's going to make a huge difference to your business. Daily posting and engaging grows a huge following. I've got a following on LinkedIn of over 30,000. I've got a following on Facebook of over 40,000, and that's built up by connecting, engaging, and posting on a regular basis. 250 words per day in 3 months or 4 months' time, you could have a book. Think about just these little steps, how they combined and what they can actually achieve. 1 email per week can lead to a huge rise in conversions. Think of your own email inbox. How many different companies email you? They're doing this for a reason. They're not doing it just because everybody else is doing it. They're doing it because this leads to a rise in conversion. It leads to a rise in sales. So it's these little things that compound. People aren't going to buy off them from the first email, but maybe the 6th email or the 10th email. They see it, they built up a relationship, and they're like, right, I'm going to buy off these guys. 2 blogs per month becomes an SEO magnet for your website. If you're not getting a lot of traction at the moment on your website, by writing blogs, you can start generating a lot of traffic to your website, but it does take a little bit of time. But in 8 weeks' time, the blog that you wrote 2 months ago or the blog that you wrote today in 8 weeks' time can be bringing a lot more traction to your website. It can be getting you found for a particular question that your ideal clients are searching for. So the Ambitious Photographer's Journal is my journal which I've written for photographers. I've designed it purely for you. It's available on Amazon in both color, paperback, and hardback. And I also done a black and white edition for Australia because they wouldn't do the printed color version in Australia. If you just head over to Amazon and type in the Ambitious Photographer's Journal, you'll find it there. And if you do enjoy it, I'd love you to leave a review. And also, if you do have any questions, feel free to connect with me on Facebook, connect with me on LinkedIn, and drop me a message. I'm always here to help. It doesn't cost any money to ask me a question, and I always leave voice clips or reply to people because I am genuinely here to help photographers really improve their business and achieve their goals.
You definitely like voice clips. I've noticed
Yeah,
that.
I love it.
Yeah, I'll wake up in the morning and
I'm just.
Go ahead.
I'm dyslexic, so I do make a lot of spelling mistakes. I make a lot of errors, and I just think, what? It's so much easier doing a voice clip, and I do that on LinkedIn a lot. And so many people come back and go, "Oh my God, Jeff, that's awesome! I can't believe you've taken the time to do that." So I think it's much more personal, and it saves me making an absolute balls up of my spelling, or typing something and then pressing send and going, "Oh my God, I've sent that. Oh, I must look a right idiot. I spelled that wrong or put the wrong word in." So voice clips are a fantastic way to build up that personalization.
Yeah, I'm also dyslexic, and I never thought about actually doing a voice clip as a reply to a message. I probably should start doing it more. but I just find myself relying on Grammarly quite heavily for correcting whenever I make weird mistakes. So, so we had a bunch of comments and questions that I want to get to. So we asked about goals. Two people shared their goals. So we got one goal from Nicole. Hello, Nicole in New Jersey. By the way, Nicole, we're doing a coffee meetup, the first ever ImagenAI coffee meetup in New Jersey. If you're in the ImagenAI community, you can see the event there and you can attend. It's actually in February, and I can't wait. It's going to be fantastic. So she says, my 2022 goal is to increase the portrait side of her business to make up for the revenues she was receiving for the other full-time job that she finally quit in July. It's a pretty good goal.
Yeah. So what you would do there, Nicole, to really dive into this goal, to build it out a bit more, is so right. I want to increase my portrait side of the business. How much do you want to increase it by? You don't have to say it in the community, obviously, but say, for instance, you might be doing, say, for instance, you're doing $50,000 a year. You might say, right, I want to increase that by 50,000. I want to be doing $100,000. Now, how am I going to get that 100,000? First of all, I'm going to improve my brand, because my brand doesn't look premium. It's not really appealing to my ideal clients. And I'm currently charging on average $500 per shoot. So, when people are buying all that. So I'm going to increase my prices so that I have to shoot less. How am I going to get to these people? How am I going to get in front of my ideal clients? My Facebook following is currently 1,500. I want to increase my Facebook following in 2020 to 3,000. I also want to try and collaborate with a family restaurant. I also want to try and collaborate with a designer baby boutique, so I can start hitting people who've, mums who've just had babies, who have a lot of money because they'll go and buy a Ralph Lauren baby glow for $200 for the 3-month-old Katie. So you want to do these collaborations with people who already serve your ideal clients, not people who serve any mum or anybody who's having a baby, people who serve people who are having a baby who have a lot of disposable income. So that is one way of breaking that 2020 goal down of increasing the portrait side of your business and looking at ways you can get it done. But like I said, the brand is a really essential element.
Awesome. The next goal shared was from Nicholas in Yorkshire, wedding photographer. My goal for this year is to network more and build more relationships with venues and suppliers and other businesses that can refer me. I want to reduce my advertising spend by 50% and increase organic referrals. Yeah, it got cut off a little bit there, but referrals. That's another great goal. I mean, that's a lot. That's a lot.
It's a lot. Now, I'll tell you a little bit. So obviously, Nicholas, I've done over 750 weddings. I retired from wedding photography in August last year. I feel I'm getting a bit too old for it now. But one of my biggest things in growing the business, one thing we did is this joint venture. Now, when you're looking at joint ventures, building relationships with venues are great. Suppliers, one of the best suppliers to go for in the wedding industry is bridal shops, wedding dresses. The reason being, if you try and build relationships with people further down the line, and incidentally, when I had the boudoir business, we had a boudoir makeover business, my girlfriend was a wedding hair and makeup artist. I used to recommend Marissa, my girlfriend, to literally every single bride who came through my door. So when they come to book me, I say, have you got a makeup artist? No, we haven't got one. Right, I can recommend my girlfriend, and he's a little voucher. It's £50 off the cost of a bridal hair package and makeup package. I would on average give Marissa about 25 to 30 weddings per year. In return, Marissa would give me about 2. She would try just as hard as me, but because she was a wedding hair and makeup artist, by the time people had come to her, they had the dress sorted, they had the venue sorted, they had the photographer sorted. So you want to be targeted on people who are in that period, that actual journey. So what a bride usually does is she books a venue, then she goes to get her dress, then she goes to the photographer, or she goes venue, photographer, dress. So if you look at some of the real high-end sort of bridal shops in Yorkshire or in York or in Leeds or somewhere like that, right? And then you start to align yourself with them. And what you don't want to do what a lot of photographers do is they go in and say, can you put some leaflets in your shop? That's not going to do anything for them. They'll probably get the leaflets off you, you'll go out the door and they'll chuck them in the bin. What we did is created a VIP exclusive joint venture partnership with bridal shops that every time they handed out a VIP voucher to the people who would buy in their dresses, first of all, it made the bridal shop look really, really good because they handed this voucher out to the client. Then we said to the bridal shop, for every person who comes and books with this voucher, we will give you £100 commission. Now, imagine that the first time we did this with the bridal shop, imagine the first, I remember going back a month later to this bridal shop and there was a young lass because the girls in this bridal shop would write their own names on the voucher because the bridal shop said, look, Jeff, would you be able to put something on the voucher where the girls can put their own name on so they can all be rewarded individually? I remember going back and giving this young girl, about 17-year-old, £300. And she was like, oh my God, what's this for? And I says, because Michelle booked, because Abby booked, and Sarah booked. And they all came to me with your referral voucher. Imagine what she did the following month after she got £300 for just saying my name. And when you create a joint venture, it's not giving out a few leaflets and, that's that done. I've got a joint venture. That's not a joint venture. That's a lazy joint venture. The joint venture needs to be nurtured. We would go every 2 weeks if we were passing through Sunderland. We would go to that bridal shop with cream cakes and we'd pop in and say, hey girls, I've got you some cream cakes to go with your tea. They loved us. If another photographer went in there and says, can we put some leaflets in? They take the leaflets off them. As soon as the photographer walked out the door, they chuck them in the bin. They wouldn't have anything to do with anybody else. And I had 3 of these joint ventures going in the Northeast, and they literally brought me 50, 60, 70 weddings per year. We actually stopped spending on Facebook ads. We stopped doing wedding fairs, and we didn't do any more printed press advertising, just through joint ventures. But there had to be wedding shops that served my ideal client. There's no good going for the budget wedding shop because you're going to get those people going, oh, do you do a wedding for 500 quid? So align yourself to the right sort of joint venture partners.
It's very smart, very good strategy. So the original goal for this was, ironically, the word goal, was for us to give away a book to the best goal for 2022. Only 2 people from watching the live stream shared. If I might suggest, why don't we give both of them
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. So Nicole and Nicholas, do you want them to email you direct? How do you want to handle that?
Yeah, there's 2 there. So email me direct. Obviously, Nicole, it might take, is Nicole in New York, is she?
New Jersey. So she's right where I am, basically.
Right. Yep. So Nicole, it'll probably take about 10 days for your book to get to you because I'll just do it through Amazon and I'll put your address. And it was Nicholas, wasn't it, the other guy?
Yep, Nicholas.
So in Yorkshire, no problem. I'll just get your address to Scott, and then I'll actually physically post it from the post office tomorrow, and you should get it within about 2 days. So I'll send it from here because I'm up in Northumberland in England.
Awesome. So Nicole and Nicholas, please email me your addresses, scott@imagine-ai.com, and I will get that off to Jeff, and we'll get you your books. Fantastic. Okay, so there was another comment. This was sort of related to what you were just talking about.
Yep.
From Jeff saying, different spelling of Jeff, wedding photographer. I have a few venues that I would love to shoot in their venue, so not a bridal shop, but an actual wedding venue. How do I approach the venue? I shot a few weddings in this venue. Is it too late to write a blog now? Any advice?
So, So one good thing is if what you start to do is if you're going to be approaching somebody who maybe is, if it's a really, really premium venue, and there's a lot of interest around this venue, one good way to do it, or this works for any sort of approaching people and getting yourself out there, is to do a little bit of flattery and let them know that you're talking about them. So you could create like a Facebook post or like you say a blog and tag that venue in. So I had a fantastic time shooting Michelle and David's wedding at the weekend at Stately Manor Hotel or whatever. I love the staircase. It's absolutely beautiful. The food was gourmet and fantastic. So talk loads of positivity about that venue and tag that venue in. So they're going to know you. They're going to see you. Now, a lot of venues, and I know this from my own experience, a lot of venues have wedding coordinators. So the best thing is to find out who the wedding coordinator is for that venue and then build a relationship with them. Wedding coordinators, they're on a salary. Once you've actually built that relationship, you can then say, tell you what, if you want to start putting my stuff out there, I can give you £100 for every single wedding booking that you send over to me. And there's not many wedding coordinators who are going to say, oh, I don't really want the money, So, but you don't want to go in there and start offering money first. Build that relationship, butter them up a bit, put all the good points about that venue, because building relationships, people buy from people who they know, like, and trust. And I've worked with so many people built on a relationship purely of trust. None of this dear sir, madam, and stuff like that, because those days are gone. It's all about being personal, being yourself, being likable, and just getting out there and building it. And remember, nobody's not approachable. Like you can. I remember when I did some work with Canon, I approached one of the guys from Canon, and just because it's one of the top guys from Canon, he's a person. He's he enjoys a joke. So if you drop somebody a message and it's personal and it makes them laugh and it makes them smile, the message I got back off them was, yeah, Jeff, we know who you are. Let's talk. Let's have a call on Monday and hook something up. And it was just really down to earth guy. So anybody is approachable if you approach them the right way. But people buy from people they like.
Yep, that's for sure. I was doing a family session at a wedding venue for the family that actually got married the year prior at that wedding venue. They wanted to go back to the wedding venue, which is a beautiful outdoor area on like I think it's a man-made lake, but is what it is. And the wedding coordinator that basically does all the weddings at that venue said to me, hey, anytime that you have a family that wants to come back here to this venue and do a family session, I'm all for it. So like she was like encouraging it. So we built that relationship, and I was able to get other clients to also, who have got married at that popular venue to go back and do a family session there. Easy for me. I don't have to think about the venue choice, and it's an outdoor, beautiful area. So there's two more comments I want to share. One is a question and comment, but first Valerie says two things. She says, this is brilliant. Thank you. And she also says this is super inspiring and very timely. So I'm happy that this is I mean, hey, it's still the beginning of January 2022. I mean, what better way to start setting your goals right now? So my friend Seishu is watching, and he says, Jeff, so you said to turn off all notifications, but still be visible online at the same time. It seems to be a little odd. What can you elaborate more maybe on notifications
totally.
on but still
so visibility online is getting your post out there, but getting your post out there, then not being drawn into social media for the content. It's a bit of likes of LinkedIn. So for example, LinkedIn, which I'm on LinkedIn, I'm a bit of a LinkedIn expert. LinkedIn algorithm works on what's something called velocity, which means within the first 2 hours of a post going live, how many comments are on that will determine how well that post will perform for the rest of the week or the fortnight. So in that case, you put your post out first thing in the morning, you put it out at maybe 8 o'clock or 7:30 because most people are active first thing in the morning. So you try and get in there before everybody else. You create that content and you put it out there. And then you watch that bit of content for maybe 30 minutes. You respond to the initial comments that are going on there because by you responding to the comments, that increases the comment amount. And then that helps with the algorithm and helps with your reach. So then that works exactly the same on Facebook as well. Once you've done that and you've got those few comments on there, come away from it. And be quite strict and say, right, I'm going to go on with my work and then I'm going to go back and I'm going to check Facebook, or I'm going to check LinkedIn at 12 o'clock. That's what I mean by turning off the notifications. I actually, now that I don't have any, so my phone will ring and I won't even know it. It'll beep on here on my step counter, only for a ring. But I don't usually answer the phone. You've got to book a call with me if you want to speak to us. But by not having notifications on my phone, I went out for a meal with a friend the other week, and I couldn't believe how often his phone was going off and beeping, and we're trying to have a conversation. It's constantly looking at the phone and picking the phone up, and I'd forgot how distracting notifications are. But it's been a year now since I've had all notifications switched off on my phone, and it's a bit like when the post comes, because nothing's going to happen. Nothing bad's going to happen if you don't check your phone until lunchtime. You do your post on the morning, you do your stuff, and then you go back in. And I think it's a bit more exciting. You go back in and go, oh, I've got 27 notifications and I've got 5-10 emails, as opposed to going back in and responding to the one. And then you go back in, do your ninja mode in your email, you go in, you respond to them quickly, then you get yourself out there and shut it down and go back in again. It's easy.
I'm a big fan of scheduling. So like I use Buffer.com in order to schedule all my initial social media posts, so that I don't have to be on in order to get the posts out there. But then I can just, when I have the time throughout the day, I'll go in and monitor and reply to comments or whatever as I need to. Different for the ImagenAI community, because that's what I'm in there all day, but everything else. Yeah. So to wrap it up, there's one more comment that just came in, one more question. This is a biggie, and then we'll close it up. So Samantha says, we tried to reach out to our wedding coordinators at our venue in our local area and have already got established vendors. We've tried offering incentives such as money, referral bonus. We supply them with wine, maybe? I don't know. Gifts, and ordered Albion's. I'm not sure what Albion's, sorry. And free videos, and there was more to the comment, but it got cut off in the overlay. So basically, like, she's trying everything. What could she do to set herself apart to get her in the door to the wedding venues?
One of the things I found with wedding venues is yes, sometimes with bridal shops, a lot of bridal shops, the high-end bridal shops don't have that connection or that coordination with a photographer. They don't have that joint venture, but a lot of venues do, because a lot of photographers think, oh, I want to get myself in there with a venue. A lot of them don't have that collaboration where they're giving money back to the venue. However, the venue feels that after a while, when they build a relationship with a photographer, then it would be wrong to sort of go with another photographer. So what I found in the past is the best way to build a relationship is to over-deliver on the wedding day, when you're actually at the venue. So I always used to, a lot of wedding coordinators used to say, I love it when I'm doing a wedding with you, Jeff, because you're all about the bride and groom, but you're all about us as well. So one of the first things I would say is, right, what time we're sitting down for lunch? Right, I promise I will get them back 15 minutes before we sit down for lunch, so chef can set his clock by that. I used to I had a hospitality business, I had a food pub, so I know there's nothing worse than a photographer coming back half an hour later when the chef's got all the stuff on the pass ready to go. So I was very, very sort of responsible in the fact, I would make sure that I would do everything for the bride and groom. I'd let the wedding coordinator see that, and I'd also coordinate very well with them, so everything went to clockwork, so that we developed relationships. And then, quite often they would say, well, actually, we do have our preferred photographer, but can we get some leaflets and stuff? Because obviously some venues are doing 3 or 4 weddings per day, and that photographer can't do 3 or 4 weddings per day. So you might not be their preferred photographer, but you might be their preferred backup photographer and still get quite a lot of work from that. But then what I would also do is definitely look at the bridal shops within your area as well. And also a lot of freelance wedding coordinators. So you do have wedding planners and wedding coordinators who aren't tied to venues, but you can actually try and get in with them, because they then work for people, they organize weddings for people who are getting married all over the place.
Awesome. Samantha just commented, wines, gifts, chocolates, etc. So great advice. It's hard. It's very hard, especially if the competition is great in specific areas. Sometimes you get lucky. Sometimes you just got to work even harder for it. Samantha, hopefully you could get a foot in the door and make something happen there. Jeff, thank you so much for sharing with everybody. So your book, I had a page open, I just closed it. One comment I had to make was I was so glad as I was going through this that, let's see if I can find it again, so in, like, for example, collaboration ideas, I loved that you pre-filled with some like I'm going to call it dummy content. Like you pre-filled it with, here's an idea, examples. You called it examples. But then like the next page is a blank. So I love that you're giving everybody, you're starting out with all the information like what you shared today. And then you give all these different planning templates in throughout the book, but you're also giving real world examples for what photographers could use in it. So hopefully everybody picks up a copy of your book. As you said, it's available on Amazon. And yeah, so can you share where everybody can find you online?
Yeah, so if you just head over to my website is thephotographersmentor.com. You can also see me on LinkedIn. Just type in The Photographer's Mentor or Jeff Brown, The Photographer's Mentor, and you can see me on there. And I also have a Facebook page, which is Focus on Marketing. So that's my business Facebook page as well. And also feel free to drop me a friend request. It's The Photographer's Mentor on Facebook as well. So you can drop me a friend request to my personal Facebook page as well.
Awesome. Awesome. So if you have enjoyed this live stream with Jeff Brown and would like to know about the next live stream, the note that you are invited to be part of the bigger conversation, join the ImagenAI community today by going to imagine-ai.com/community. By joining the community, you get access to exclusive conversations, live events, Q&As with the ImagenAI founders, and much more. We hope to see you there. Again, you can see it on the screen, but it's imagine-ai.com/community to join the ImagenAI community. And thank you again, Jeff, and we'll talk soon.
Brilliant. It's been a pleasure.